I got falsely accused of racism as a kid, and it still haunts me. Sometimes this is something I don't talk about often, mostly because it was genuinely traumatizing at the time, and the feeling of shame and helplessness still kind of lingers even now, as an adult. This happened back in elementary school in Canada. I think I was around 7 or 8. Our school was set up with different sections for kindergarten, grades 1 to 6, which was me, and then older grades. My section had the playground. It's also important to know I have autism. I wasn't diagnosed back then, but I had been diagnosed with ADHD, which probably didn't help my case in this situation. So like any kids, me and my group of friends would play and run around during recess. One of the school rules was no fake gunplay. Like you couldn't make your finger into a gun shape and pretend to shoot each other. But we were kids, we didn't really care, and did it anyway. This leads to the girl who accused me. She was brown-skinned. I think maybe Brazilian Portuguese, but I'm not entirely sure of her ethnicity. She was very much a goody two-shoes, a real tattletale. She saw us playing guns and ran to tell the supervising teacher. We didn't get into serious trouble, just a mild warning. But later, when this same girl tried to join our game, I told her no, she couldn't play with us. I was annoyed she tattled. This apparently was the catalyst. For more context, each grade in my school had 2 classes, maybe 20 to 25 kids each. After I told her she couldn't play, I was pulled out of recess by both teachers for my grade. Just them. The girl wasn't there, and they confronted me, not nicely at all, about calling this girl the N-word. According to her, I had said, "You can't play with us, you stupid N-word," because she was mad I wouldn't let her play with us, so she lied and said I'd used a slur. I had absolutely no idea what my teachers were talking about. They kept asking me if I said something because I was racist, if I said something discriminatory because of the color of her skin. And here's the thing, and I know this might sound far-fetched to some, but it's the truth. I didn't see color or have a real concept of race back then. To me, skin color was like the clothes someone wore. You couldn't control it, and it didn't matter. I was just taught we were all human, and that's how I viewed it. The concept of race had never really been fleshed out for me because it hadn't come up, or if it did, it wasn't explained well. On top of that, my ADHD often made me disruptive, which definitely didn't win me any favors with teachers. I felt so much pressure from them, these 2 authority figures towering over me, accusing me of something horrible I didn't understand. So I caved. I just nodded and bowed my head. That, of course, opened the floodgates for punishment. I had to clean all 40 desks in both classrooms with a cloth and a spray bottle. I think it was just water. I had to sit outside the class on the floor for the rest of the day. Whenever other teachers or faculty walked by and asked why I was out there, my teacher would come out and essentially shame me, implying I was a racist. I vividly remember those teachers looking at me like I was a terrible person, saying things like, "Why would you say that?" I was crying my eyes out. I was also facing suspension. They called my father and he picked me up. I was terrified, thinking, what if he doesn't believe me? When we got home, he sat me down and that look parents give you, then looked me right in the eyes and said, "Son, look at me, right here in my eyes. Tell me, did you say this?" And I said, "No, Dad, I didn't." Literally a few seconds later, he went, "Okay, I believe you." Then he asked for the real story, and I told him. He said he'd take care of it, got me some McDonald's because he felt bad, and sent me to my room. Later, when I was older and reminded him of this, he told me what happened. He went to the school, met with the principal and my teacher. They hashed it out. The teacher apparently said she was hard on me because I admitted it. The principal apologized, said it was a misunderstanding. They also apparently told my dad they were so firm because the girl's parents were threatening to go to the news, so the school felt they had to appear to be taking strong action. I didn't end up getting suspended, and later my teacher pulled me aside and apologized, and I forgave her. But looking back on it now, it was bloody traumatizing. I was shamed, made an example of, all because a girl got offended that I wouldn't let her play with me and decided to tell a devastating lie. I hope as she got older, she grew out of that kind of behavior. I don't know what happened to her, but for the rest of the time we were at that school, she'd always give me these contemptuous looks. and she was never punished for lying, which given the circumstances isn't surprising, I guess.